Welcome back to the second edition of the Money Professionals video newsletter. My name is Wayne Blanchard, and it's my job to help you understand why this time things are different and what you might need to do to meet your financial goals. You know, when I started this project, I didn't have any idea how hard it would be to take some of these topics and condense them to 5 minutes. So if you want more information, give me a call, 321-752-5656, extension 12. Schedule an appointment to come in and talk to me. We'll talk on the phone. We'll talk here in the office. Any way that I can, I'd like to help you out and see how we can adapt your situation to what's going on. Anyway, you need to forget about what you did for the last 20 years or so, because that probably isn't going to work. If your broker or your advisor is talking about a V-shaped recovery, one that goes down and then comes straight back up, run. Don't walk to the door, because that could be a problem. Odds are severely against any kind of a quick recovery. You might say, what about those green shoots we keep hearing about? Or that the housing market has bottomed. I even heard a report that yesterday Merrill Lynch declared that the recession was over. Pretty amazing, because it doesn't look that way when you look at the facts. The good news is that we will stop falling one day. I mean, we're not going to go down forever. The economy is starting to level off. We are reaching the bottom of all this. And now we aren't falling nearly as fast as we were. The stock market has put in a nice rally to boost our confidence a bit. But according to Gary Shilling, an economist, and he happens to have one of the best records at predicting what's going to go on with the economy, with the markets. And he says we're at least a year away from anything we could call a recovery. If you look at the 11 post-war recessions, 8 of them had at least one quarter that the GDP actually grew. He said that recessions are not straight down affairs. Bear market rallies are the standard, not the norm. He believes that the current rally will give way to more losses. Louise Yamada, one of the best technical analysts, I've heard her speak several times, and she called a lot of this stuff very correctly. I heard her speak about the Dow. You know, the Dow is made up of 30 stocks. And right now, she says they're all very injured in terms of their ability to earn money, to make a profit. So she used the example of building a wall with 30 bricks. But all of the bricks that you used are either cracked or broken. She said, what kind of a wall would you have? And it certainly wouldn't bring much to knock it down. So think about that a little bit. The housing market is nowhere near finished declining. Housing inventories are approximately 2 million units higher than normal. Mr. Shilling said excess inventories are the mortal enemy of prices. And of course we know that. He further stated that more home equity will be wiped out, causing additional walkaways and further problems for the mortgage lenders. Housing prices are down nationwide 32% from their peak. Obviously more than that here in Florida. And Shilling predicts an overall 37% decline, but it could easily overshoot that mark. The housing situation is a real key to what's going on and what's going to keep us down here. The housing situation ties directly to consumer spending. People are retrenching, they're cutting back, they're digging in, and that's going to keep the recovery slow. With no equity in their homes and their credit cards used to the max, they have no other choice but to save, especially when they want to plan for emergencies or maybe are looking at retirement. You can't count on that house growing and providing your retirement anymore. Savings rates right now are at approximately 6%. Now compare that to a negative rate of savings we had just a couple of years ago. Matter of fact, we've started saving at the 6% rate just in the last 6 or 8 months. That's how quickly it's happened. Now, the U.S. has been the consumption engine powering the economy of the entire world. Now, that's come to an end because the consumer just hit the wall. There wasn't any more money for them to do anything with. As we spend less for goods and services, production has to be cut. Once it's cut, that causes layoffs and wage cuts, which in turn will cause further cuts in spending, which in turn leads to wage cuts, which in turn, you get the idea. It's a cycle, and right now we're on the downward path. At some point this will level out, but it's going to level out, and a lot of those jobs are not going to come back because they were based on consumer spending. You're not going to have a restaurant in every corner. You're not going to have a lot of the stores and the things that you see right now. A big result of this lack of spending will be deflation. Commodity prices should decline, led by oil. Excess inventories will be the main drivers of deflation. You can't have a big supply of something that nobody really wants to buy, that fewer and fewer people want to buy, and have the price do anything but go down. Big inventory means lower prices because you got lower demand. Schilling also said that for the first time since the 1930s, companies have responded to this recession with wage cuts and shorter hours instead of just laying the people off. That also increases deflation because, again, you have people that are working, but they're making less money, so they have less discretionary income to go out and drive that consumer spending. Big, big problems. Remember that word deflation. You'll hear it a lot throughout this series. No, people that think we're going to have a V-shaped recovery are just not looking at the facts. The shape will be more like an L. We dropped. We're going to flatten out, and we will have a recovery, but it's going to be very, very slow. It's going to take a long time to get back to where we were. What about what the government is doing, the stimulus packages, all that type of thing that it's done and what it's thinking about doing? We're going to talk about that next week, so make sure you tune in. Have a great week.